Gambia's police force has rounded up 96 people in its second-day operation against crime in the Greater Banjul areas. The Africa CDC is initiating plans to buy more COVID-19 vaccines to support member countries contain the pandemic. And South African government will provide funding for black farmers to help them access to commercial agricultural projects. These and more coming your way on The World Today. Stay tuned. Good evening, viewers. You're watching The World Today newscast with me, Sahna Tunkara, and now to our news in detail. The Gambia police has rounded up 96 people on the second day since the launch of the Operation Zero Crime. The enforcement targeted various criminal hideouts within the Greater Banjul area and West Coast regions, according to the police media dispatch on Sunday. And on the list of suspected criminals, 27 are non-Gambians, whose arrests were in connection to several offenses, including going armed in public and possession of drugs. A day before, the police arrested more than 100 suspects, including 2 women, in a joint security high-visibility patrol. And the police high command assured the public that the conduct of the security personnel was strictly within the confines of the law. Moving on, the Africa Center for Disease Control and Prevention says more than 40 African countries have received the coronavirus vaccine as part of efforts to contain the virus in the continent. The remaining countries are expected to receive their share of the vaccine as the continental health bodies sign a deal to purchase more doses.
Africa CDC said 28 nations have received COVID-19 vaccines through the global COVAX mechanism, and about 20 countries have received theirs outside of COVAX through bilateral deals. So far, 48 out of 54 African states have received vaccines.
39.1 million vaccine doses have been acquired by member states, with approximately 10.3 million doses having been administered. The majority of those being vaccinated include healthcare workers, people with comorbidities, and elderly, that is, those above 50 years and beyond.
Africa CDC has also announced a new contract has been signed with Johnson & Johnson for the continent to get more than 400 million doses of vaccines.
The deal is actually structured, or the agreement is actually structured such that 220 million doses will be available, with an option of increasing the purchase of an additional 180 million doses for a total of 400 million. The vaccines supplies will be from the Aspen Biopharma plant in South Africa.
According to Africa CDC's observation, the spread of the virus is still alarming on the continent. Africa, just like the rest of the world, is banking on the COVID-19 vaccines coming in to soon see the end of the pandemic.
The Africa CDC is initiating plans to buy more COVID-19 vaccine to support other countries contain the pandemic. Now, the Hope Limited on Saturday held a robotic presentation of 2 groups of kids, ranging from kids from 6 to 9 for the first group and the second group the age of 10 to 14. During the past 3 months, the Hope and the Robotic Hope ventured into a partnership to train children in introduction to Scratch programming and programming concepts. Robotics employs the use of analytics, engineering, and technology in using programming concepts to make robots function. Fatmata Kasim has the rest of that story.
Robotics is the intersection of science, engineering, and technology that produces machines known as robots that are capable of replicating human actions. Brandon Degilen, co-founder of Hub, introduced the program to train children on the fundamentals of programming the building of robots and instructing them to operate under commands. She encouraged parents and guardians to allow their children to think out of the box and not to confine into academic theories.
What we always tend to miss in Gambia is that children learn in different ways, and children are gifted in different ways. But what we always try to do is keep them in a box. We're very rigid. You either study science, commerce, or arts. That's not the world we live in now. The world we live in is ruled by technology. Children have to explore and let them see what they enjoy and what makes them happy and what really tickles their fancy. And at the end of the day, if you allow them to be able to really try out new things, you'll realize that not everyone is made to sit in a university classroom. Some people are meant to actually to work on technology, but not necessarily have to have academic qualifications in the process.
Birandonde described the program as an introductive phase from where higher levels in the usage of technology will be introduced.
Because this is something that we're going to probably see more of as we keep rolling the program round and round. I would say allow the children to really explore when it comes to digital means, and allow them to really understand how they can use technology, not only to WhatsApp or Instagram or do all those other things, Facebook, but to actually productively use the internet and technology to better their lives.
The Robotic Hub came into being after the Pan-African Robotic Competition, which featured the victory of the Gambian team in the tournament. The hub was then set up, beginning with summer classes on the basic concept of the technology for school-going children aspiring for higher education in artificial intelligence. For iAfrica News, I am Fatoumata Kassim.
From the reports by Fatoumata Kassim, we move on. The agricultural sector is regarded as the backbone of Gambia's economy, as different branches of the sector contribute immensely to the gross domestic product. And one of them is poultry farming, which is recognizably creating business opportunities for many young Gambians. In this report, the president of Jamorai Poultry Association, who, despite the partial dissolution of the association, put up commitment for its expansion.
Poultry business in the Gambia is blooming every day, thanks mainly to local growing appetite for chicken and eggs as substitute to meat or fish, which are all hard to come by nowadays. Jamorai Poultry Farm Association in Kunkujang, with a membership of more than 75 women, is one of the ADP-sponsored projects in the country. It began official operation at the Abuko Agricultural Poultry Center, where all necessary materials needed for poultry production were installed by the ADP. These did not, however, prevent a partial death of the initiative, likely due to loss in track and commitment on the side of the management. Aissatou Badji saw the business venture as too good to collapse and then pursued the goal in reviving it.
Wow, dañ dem because xam nga loi la ñu liggéey dañ dem ba ñëpp relax talk.
Yes, this farm belongs to the association. But later on, almost everyone relaxed and a great loss was incurred. As the president of this association, I decided to come up with ways of reviving the farm because our sponsors spent a lot for everything to go in vain. This poultry farming is not an easy task. It requires knowledge and commitment. Once that is missing, you are likely to fail. I traveled to America to attend a poultry explore program. I was informed that all the chickens got sick and died. From that day until now, no one came back. Upon my return, I tried to mobilize all the members again, but my efforts were fruitless.
This farm rears different types of chickens, such as broilers, brown layers and white layers, to satisfy the demand of several localities. The farm manager, Adam Akoli, explained the processes involved in breeding of the chicken at the farm.
And I mean, like this, the government has put a ban to the importation of chicken right now. But then right now, with the kind of birds that we have in here is this layers here, and then we have the cockerels there at the other room there. No. I mean, like there's a difference in rearing them. This other one here is a very sensitive one. I allowed you guys to come here, but then it's not part of the rules.
The production of local chicken gives ordinary households the option from the imported industrial chicken constitute the greatest space in our local markets. The price of imported chicken and chicken products is slightly lower than that of the local chicken because of the costs involved in the importation of poultry materials and feeds. In the view of Mr. Coley,
Most of the challenges that we are facing as farmers in the Gambia market, I mean, like we don't have a proper market due to the importation of the chicken legs, the full chicken, I mean, and all these other ones, the imported eggs. Well, you know what happened here in the Gambia? We have a problem of feed. Feed is our main problem. Has the poultry farmers in the Gambia. What happened? We imported feed from Senegal, and the feed costs so much. Right now, there is no price control in the feed. You go today, they will tell you 1,350. You go the other way, the other day, they will tell you, it is in 1,400. So what happened? When you buy it at 1,400, maybe, actually I'm having 1,000 of them here. So those 1,000, they probably need 2 bags of feed for the day. So for the day, at least I'm spending $3,000. But when I look the cost of my production, and then I want to sell my egg at a certain price, I wouldn't make profit out of it compared to the imported. The imported, at least you can have it at a cheaper price than the local one. But then people don't understand that when you tell them that we cannot sell as the imported ones have been sold at the market.
Besides the production of broiler chickens, eggs, and guano, Jamorai offers poultry consultancy services to aspiring poultry farmers. As part of their long-term goal, the farm hopes to train and employ more people as the business thrives along the permanent plans. For African News, Sohna Tunkara.
From the story, we'll now go with a short commercial break and the news continues. Stay tuned.
They say we slept in one world and woke up in another. This global tragedy got humans together despite our social distancing. Our nature is taking a break. And giving us a wake-up call on what and who truly matters. Look around you. Hold on. Breathe. Count your blessings. Take time for self-renewal, for a better start tomorrow. Soon, life will be back. Meanwhile, let's stand apart together, with one heart.
Welcome back. If you're just watching, this is the World Today newscast. And to the rest of our stories. The lives of Nigerians displaced due to ongoing terrorist insurgency in northeastern Nigeria has become more deteriorating thanks to the impact of COVID-19. About $1 million is needed to uplift the status of the affected people, according to the United Nations. However, only 55% of the needed funds were raised in 2020 due to the global health crisis. More in this report.
Forced to flee violence and terrorism, this camp offers no escape from the memories of pain. Hawa Ibrahim lost 4 siblings to Boko Haram attacks and had to flee northeast Nigeria in 2014. Since then, she's lived at this camp for displaced persons in Abuja, and she says life has only gotten worse by the day.
It still hurts when I remember how they killed my brothers and my sisters, especially as life here is so difficult. No good food, shelter or water. I wish the government can end the war so we can go back home.
As part of the effort to support millions of victims of the insurgency, the United Nations says $1 billion will be used to provide life-saving assistance. This aid will include the provision of food, health, water, sanitation and access to education for millions of vulnerable people in various IDP camps in the north. Over the last 3 years, humanitarian appeals of about $1 billion have been met by the UN for victims of insurgency in Nigeria. Last year, as a result of COVID-19, only 55% of the funds were realized and people are suffering more.
COVID-19 impacted on people already who are down. This is something that is extremely serious. It has damaged their livelihoods. It has damaged their opportunities to survive. For 2021, this amount of money will be able to reach up to 6.5 million people who are in extreme need out of 8.7 million people who are in need altogether, but the targeting will be for 6.5 million.
More than 80 local and international humanitarian agencies, including the World Food Programme and Red Cross, will be working with the Nigerian government to ensure these funds, when secured, are carefully utilized. The UN says the government will need to do more to end the war against insurgency as a lasting solution and encourage humanitarian assistance in the north.
Until there is peace, until there is a removal of conflict and violence and displacement of the people, it's difficult to see hope in the future. And the humanitarians who are dedicated, who have been helping people, are not in fact safe from this violence. Last year, a number of them were killed, a number were abducted, a number are unaccounted for. As a result, this has put Nigeria as one of the most difficult places for humanitarians to work.
Despite the government's efforts to end the war on insurgency since 2009, more than 30,000 people have been killed and over 2 million displaced from their homes.
President Muhammadu Buhari has promised to halt insurgency before the end of his tenure in 2023 after replacing the country's heads of military in January. The government has also commenced a plan to rehabilitate, resettle and reintegrate victims of insurgency back into the society.
The hope is that these promises are kept so that the likes of Hawa can return to their normal lives soon.
Nigeria's northeastern region is facing daily struggles due to the ongoing terrorist insurgency. Now, in a bid to boost agricultural production, South Africa has launched an agri-industrial fund to support black farmers. The new farming initiative aims to provide capital for the targeted farmers to enable them access to commercial agricultural projects. South African black farmers usually struggle to access funding, but the government is out to change the narratives. Details in this report.
Transformation in South Africa's agricultural sector has been a slow process, but the new agri-industrial fund aims to change that. The $68 million fund is meant to assist black farmers gain access to capital to pursue large-scale commercial agricultural projects. The fund is a joint initiative by South Africa's Department of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development and the state-owned Industrial Development Corporation.
The real aim is to help commercialization, because I think we want to develop a competitive agro-processing, sector. There are players, but there are some, black emerging farmers that are battling to actually break through. So we want to create and contribute to a competitive industry.
The Agri-Industrial Fund will target commodities in the food, beverage, fiber, forestry, and agro-derivative industries, which present an abundance of opportunities. These opportunities are often difficult to access, though, for black farmers due to a lack of funding. But the government is now putting up the cash injection.
We are addressing, the gap in capital, but also encouraging clients who are focused on high-value export-orientated crops, the likes of citrus, avocado, table grapes, poultry, livestock, but also guys who are looking to, looking at expansionary acquisition to buy into good, going concerns, commercial farms.
As part of the funding process, a skills audit will also be carried out to plug the skills gap, and training and mentorship programs will take place. Financial institutions will also assist black farmers with financial management, and uptake agreements are being negotiated with supermarkets. These are all measures that have been welcomed by the farmers.
People are currently not having enough markets to sell. So the retailers are part and parcel of the drive of this transformation, that our people be part also of the economy, you see. So I think the government did this effort at the right time.
The launch of the Agri-Industrial Fund comes on the back of agricultural land being allocated by the government to black emerging farmers. The move is meant to further align the government's ambition to empower black emerging farmers and bring them closer to the mainstream economy.
Well, with that report ends the World Today newscast. Gambia 24 is up next with Mariama Cham at 19:30 GMT. I am Sohna Tunkara, and thanks for the pleasure of your company. Bye for now.
Star GSM Electronics. Special Ramadan promotion starting from April 4th to 15.